you've completed the
Yurika.
entry procedures, yes? And now you want to apply for residency, both of you?
Residencia.
Yes, please.
Okay, the processing fee will be 2 million mora.
Nada más.
2 million? For a processing fee? Are you serious?
That's right. 1 million per applicant, which makes 2 million total. Don't worry, you can trust my math.
Paimon wasn't so much questioning your math as...
Ma'am, these two here are good friends of mine. I think you'll find I'm one face you recognize.
Ah, Mr. Toma, it's you. By way of courtesy, allow me to reduce it to 400,000 mora total.
Vaya que oferta.
Thank you ever so much, Miss Eureka. But as this is just a processing fee, I think 600 mora should cover it if I'm paying on their behalf. I'll treat you to dinner too. How does that sound?
¿Eh?
That's not how you haggle! By all means, bargain the price down, but...
Alright then, as you wish, Mr. Toma. I will make a record.
¿Me podrías explicar algo, Toma?
Much obliged.
¿Me podrías explicar algo, Toma? Toma, estás aquí, toma tu descuento. Voy a estar sacando muchísimas chistes de Toma, ¿ok?
She went from 2 million down to 600?
Wait, algo está sonando y creo que es mi teléfono. Hold on a minute. Era mi alarma de que no se me olvidaba la entrada a Genshin Impact. Ya lo hice, gracias. Tío de las finanzas, creo que tiene que ver con algo más que con el dinero. Se recuerda a cierta persona. Pero es que literal. Es el child de Inazuma. Con toda la alarma para jugar. Simplemente porque como pagué el... que te dan 90 protogemas diarias y inicia sesión con Genshin Impact, pues por eso. Para que pues valga mi dinero, you know.
The way some here at the agency see it, the fees are easy money, so it becomes a question of how much they can make. So when the day comes that some poor merchant from overseas with more money than sense gets stuck here and needs to apply for residency...
Then they'll milk them for all they're worth.
Ay, pobrecitos.
Exactly. It's at times like this that having a local friend really comes in handy.
¿Y nadie hace algo para oponerse?
Yes, but when you're an outlander in Inazuma, far from home in this closed nation era, there's very little that can be done about it.
O pagas eso o te regresas a la Hacking Tormenta en el cual posiblemente puedas morir. ¿Cuál es tu opción? Pues, yeah.
The most that overseas merchants can do to look after themselves is stick together. That's how the International Trade Association came about.
So it's a trade association built by and for Outlanders?
Yep. And as well as advancing commercial interests, the association provides help, support, and structure for Outlanders trying to survive on Rito. Essentially, it's an association devoted to both commercial excellence and survival skills.
Entonces, ¿cómo puedo una frasera?
Sounds like just staying alive is an achievement when you're an Outlander in Inazuma.
I see. So this is the real purpose of your trip. Yes, given that you are Outlanders, it's certainly a lofty aspiration. After all, the Raiden Shogun is the most exalted and revered one in all of Inazuma. She is a deity who reigns on high, while all other life gazes up in awe.
Y aún así tengo que encontrar la manera.
I was going to say nothing is set in stone when it comes to who you will encounter in this world. Who's to say you won't happen to run into the Raiden Shogun one day after lunch?
Especialmente cuando la gente esté pasando la voz de que tú tienes poderes de visión. Y la Shogun va a decir, ¡dame esa visión ahora! ¡Lo necesito! Y luego te llevan a ella directamente y la Shogun dice, ¡dame su visión! ¡Dale, dale! Y yo, no tengo visión. ¿Qué le vamos a hacer? Ajá. No. ¡Tenanda yo! Va a decir la Shogun. No tengo visión, ¿qué le vamos a hacer? Tenanda yo, dame su visión. En este momento, como caray tiene poderes. Ok, sigamos.
And is that
Okay, I'll give it to you straight. I know of a way to introduce you to the Raiden Shogun.
Really? Wow, the Rito Fixer's better connected than we thought.
Únete a nuestra revolución.
I mean,
Sí.
it will take all the resources I have at my disposal, but it can be done. However, before we get there,
Ah, tiene una visión, claro, sí. Si no, si no tuviera visión, pues estaría, tiene su visión, está en la revolución.
connections come at a high price, you understand?
What you want?
Not you too.
No. In this instance, when I say price, I'm not talking about Mora.
What you want?
In fact, there's no real cost as such. It's just that if this is something you really want, you'll have to agree to help other people solve some of their problems first.
¿En qué?
I like to do things in a way that keeps everybody happy. It's my own personal rule for dealing with situations like this.
Madre, el amor hermoso.
Sounds very reasonable to Paimon. You're the man in the middle, so you have to trade favors to keep everyone indebted to you.
No por nada eres un intermediario.
Why do I get the feeling you're making me out to be some sort of crook? Never mind.
Dice, pobrecito.
Here's the situation. As I touched upon earlier, the members of the International Trade Association are constantly struggling to survive. Recently, things seem to have gotten more difficult than ever for them, so just go and check things out. See if there's any way you can help. The head of the association is called Kurisu, and he's a good friend of mine. So
Kurisu.
talk to him. I'll wait for you here.
Kurisu. Será un extranjero, pero le dicen Kurisu porque su verdadero nombre es Chris, ¿verdad? Iba a pronunciarlo en japonés Chris. Qué full que se ha de llamar Chris. Ah. Sí, hablen con Chris. Claro, por eso es la Cámara de Comercio. Chris. Claro, pues.
Huh?
Claro.
Hello there. You must be seeking refuge with the International Trade Association. The Outlander Affairs Agency took you for all you're worth, I suppose.
Chris. ¿Cómo se llame? Se llama Chris. Pero como es Japón, pues no pueden hacer Chris. Siempre cuando es la R le tienen que poner como Ri. Todas las cosas que tengan K, pues es Q. Y todo lo que termina en S le ponen Su. Por eso es Chris. Por poco lo hace.
Ah, good. That's a relief. You need to be careful, or you'll find yourself losing your savings all at once.
We heard the association has been having some difficulties lately. Is that true?
No me había percatado de ella. Sí, así le hacen.
Yes, left, right, and center. Obstacles at every turn. But that's nothing new for us.
The Sakoku decree certainly makes things difficult for anyone who wants to come here from overseas.
But it's not the root cause of our woes. The Sakoku decree might restrict our scope of activity, but in and of itself, it doesn't stop us from being able to enjoy a comfortable existence. No. What's really squeezing us Outlander merchants dry is those Mora grubbers from the Kanjo Commission.
Comisión Kanjo.
Oh, of the three commissions, that's the one that oversees everything on retail, isn't it?
Vale, perdone, interrupciones.
That's right. They impose astronomical tax rate, unbelievable regulations, and that's not the worst of it. They just issued a new tax decree recently that, for some reason, completely changes the way we pay our taxes. It used to be Mora, but now it's something called Crystal Marrow.
Médula cristalizada.
Crystal marrow. What's that?
Pues mira, mi teoría es que como ya se enteraron de que en Liyue ya no hay un dios que produzca monedas por cierta persona que no planeó bien las cosas antes de irse de vacaciones de por vida, pues la Arconte dijo, antes de que se cause con un caos económico mundial, voy a producir mi propio banco y mi propia moneda. ¿Qué va a hacer? Pues la médula cristalizada. Pues tiene sentido, oye.
Something that most of us in the association had never heard of before either, until the new decree came along. Eventually, one of the older Liyue merchants recalled that he once shipped a batch of it to Snezhnaya in his youth. So, in order to pay our taxes, we began an arduous search for this crystal marrow. But then we found we'd only managed to create a bigger problem for ourselves. The
Claro,
rising
tiene
demand for
sentido.
crystal marrow drove the price higher and higher. Now there's only one vendor who even has it in stock. We can't get...
Ay, upsi.
Isn't that what they call a monopoly?
Tomando las clases que
Exactly.
nos dio cierto
So this
Gujua.
vendor keeps pushing the price up, and we have no choice but to buy from them because the tax decree forces us to. It's a vicious cycle, the consequence of which is that our taxes will soon exceed our profits. And once that happens,
Es absurdo.
we've tried communicating with the commission directly, but this is a nation where the cries of a few struggling merchants will never be heard over the ever-present roar of thunder. Fontaine, my dear homeland. I miss you an awful lot at the moment.
Ya se habían sacado como que todos los nombres de los países, ¿no? Fontaine, que es el de agua. Sumeru, que es el de Dendro. El otro, que es el de Pyro, que es el único que se me olvida siempre el nombre. Y obviamente Snezhnaya.
Sounds awful. They're really bleeding them dry. What do you think we should do?
Y se intenta... El comerciante parece ser un tipo sospechoso.
That vendor. I've actually done business with him in the past, but after a point he stopped contacting us. I have no idea where he sources this stuff.
Well, it definitely sounds like he's being unfair. How do we find him? We could go talk to him and see if he lets anything slip.
Hey, that's a pretty good idea. Since you're not affiliated with the association and you're new to Rito, he may just let his guard down. If I remember correctly, our usual meeting point with him is under a tree by the coast in the residential district. See if you can find him there.
Distrito residencial.
Got it. We're on the case.
Vale. Ok, Mackey. ¿Qué hace contrabandos con médula cristalizada? O sea, ya luego dice, está haciendo contrabando. No lo está vendiendo decentemente. Luego, está haciendo contrabando. Te spoilean de veras las misiones. Te spoilean. Entonces, técnicamente, ¿no nos van a vender nada hasta que tengamos estas médulas? Sí. Eso parece. Médula cristalizada. ¿Es esto? Hola, Wegner.
Huh? I don't think I recognize you. Are you new arrivals?
Intermediaria de por aquí.
So, what do you need with me?
¿De dónde obtiene sus productos?
The sheer nerve. You don't go around asking questions like that. If I gave you my sources, I might as well hand you the whole darn business. Trade secret. Got it? You know what trade and secret mean, right?
Werner, me suena demasiado a un fatui, pero ok.
This guy's got a bad attitude.
¿Considerarías bajar tus precios?
Are you
¿Con
even
pa' qué o qué?
buying?
La verdad es que sí, ¿qué tipo de pregunta? ¿Cómo se
I
acerca de
see
esta manera?
what's going on here. Karisu and his associates sent you here to try and plead their case, didn't they? They're wasting their time. The price is non-negotiable, not by a single Mora.
Hey, what's your problem?
Get out of here, go on. Tell them they're lucky to be buying from me in the first place, and they ought to be more grateful. If it weren't for me, they'd be in seriously hot water.
What are we gonna
hora de acudir al verdadero intermediario.
Let's check back in with him.
Para aquí, para allá, para aquí, para allá. Puedo viajar más por Inazuma. Oh. 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 Sí, nadie me quiere vender nada. Puedo cocinar. Algo es algo.
That was quick. You resolved it already?
No.
Actually, we're having a little trouble.
Tendrás que ayudarnos a ayudarte.
Oh? Well, by all means, tell me what you need. I'll help as much as I can. Getting you to go fixing things when you've only just arrived is quite a demand.
¿Qué sabes de Werner?
Oh, that guy? I'm familiar. He used to be a bit of a sorry sight, selling shells that he collect on the beach just to get by, but he seems to have suddenly shot up in the world recently. I can only assume he must have found himself a patron after leaving the International Trade Association.
Huh. You're saying he used to be a member of the International Trade Association? So he's an outlander
Claro,
too?
tiene pinta de forastero. Mira.
Yes. Couldn't you tell when you spoke to him?
Parecía de Mondstadt, Warner.
That's right. Werner was born in Mondstadt, then went into the shipping business, trading between Leah and Inazuma. When Inazuma closed to the outside world, he was one of a group of outlanders that ended up stranded on Rito.
Huh. What a bummer.
The International Trade Association was initially very generous to him, but over time, with decree after decree, the association members found it increasingly difficult to make ends meet.
So he left the association and turned his back on them.
I'm sure it's more nuanced than that. I believe even the most ungrateful and cold-hearted of people still have some amount of gratitude and warmth left in them somewhere.
Ya veo.
Really? Is that all you need to know?
Well then, it sounds like you may have found a way in with him.
Warner, cariño, déjame decirte que yo soy una caballera honoraria de Mondstadt y vas a tener que lidiar con mis exigencias. Y si no, te vas a quemar en polvos pica pica. No sé.
What are you doing back here? Just because I got plenty of time on my hands doesn't mean I want to waste any of it talking to you.
En tiempo libre podría decirse que es una forma de libertad.
Huh? Where's this coming from?
No estaría mal una serenata de un bardo en estos momentos.
Mondstadt? You were talking about...
Sí, mire. Le voy a dar algo de Mondstadt. Algo que no necesite mucho. Esto te voy a dar de Mondstadt.
Goodness, I
Pueblos
can
pica
sense it
pica.
now. So familiar, but I can't remember the last time I was there. The scent of Mondstadt. Oh, how it takes me back.
Que la contenemos te proteja.
My hometown, the home of freedom. How I long to go back and visit.
It's working!
Cállese, Paimon, si no. Va a quemar todo.
So, trying to play my heartstrings like a liar, are you? I know what you're up to.
Cierra los ojos.
Huh? What is this? What are you up to now?
Just close your eyes already!
Escucha atentamente. ¿Te suena familiar?
You mean the sound of the ocean?
Yo soy barato y delicioso.
Leah Harbor. I can see it so clearly. Oh, and the sound of the waves. The calls of the merchants.
Que la llama del conocimiento y la virtud.
Xiao lanterns. I'm right there at the lantern right.
Yo nunca estuve ahí.
Oh, look at them floating up into the sky.
This guy has a really active imagination. Either that or he really does miss Leela Harbor.
Liu.
Mira, te voy a dar algo que no necesito por el momento. Estas cosas no sé a quién se los tengo que dar, pero te voy a dar estas. Que tengo en exceso.
Wait. Stop. That's enough. Don't make me relive it anymore. My poor heart can't take it.
Mucha gente está en tu misma
You
situación.
mean the folks from the International Trade Association? And I suppose they are far
Hello
from
there,
home,
Alrokuan.
just
Hello
like
there.
me. Often, I'll sneak down to the shore at night and listen to the sound of the waves. I like to imagine it's the voice of my hometown, carried across the ocean. I've run into folks from the association more than a few times doing just that, but I always hide my face and slip away. Don't you think I've wanted to talk things through with them and free myself from this anguish?
Well, no one's stopping you, so...
No, claro que sí. Una tormenta que te puede matar técnicamente allá afuera de las islas. Claro que sí te pueden. Es como
They're
que nadie
so
te detiene.
resilient. None of them had anyone else to rely on, so they rallied together, committed to finding a way to survive. But I couldn't do it. I'm not strong enough. So I caved. Those people, they'd make the smallest of promises, offer the most measly benefits, and I'd do whatever they asked of me. And make Mondstadters look like the worst people in the world.
¿A quiénes te refieres con esos
All
rufianes?
right. I'll tell you the whole story. It's eating me up inside, and I can't take it anymore.
You ready to talk now?
La Cámara de Comercio Internacional
But
te
I
protegerá.
betrayed them. I can't show my face there.
Come on, you scaredy cat. Look, you messed up, but now it's time to make things right. So come on, get it off your chest. What's the deal here?
It's a scheme by the tax collection Ashigaru. Keijiro and his companions.
Recaudadores de impuestos. Keijiro y
They start
compañía.
by overtaxing the merchants, then take the extra crystal marrow they receive and stockpile it.
Ah, o sea, les están diciendo ahora a los comerciantes. Los impuestos de residencia ya no va a ser en mora, va a ser en médula cristalizada. Y es como, ¿dónde Chihuahua saca médula cristalizada? Se pusieron de acuerdo con Werner y le dijeron, mira, te damos esta médula cristalizada, ¿ok? Dale. Y nos das como lo que te vende, ¿ok? Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Que los comerciantes entonces le están pagando a Werner con mora. Werner les da las mora a los de los impuestos y los de los impuestos reciben otra vez la médula cristalizada y se lo vuelven a dar a Werner para que siga vendiendo. ¡Qué bastardos!
Once the merchants run out of places to buy crystal marrow, they get me to sell that extra stock back to the merchants at an extortionate price, with the proceeds going to the tax collection Ashigaru.
Toda una mafia, en efecto.
It's plain evil gouging them like this.
I'm their puppet, yes. But my cut is a tiny fraction of what we take in total. It's barely enough for me to live on.
Necesitamos evidencias.
Evidence. You're right. Without conclusive evidence, he will never admit it. Now that I think about it, whenever I report back to him after a sale, he always heads to the same place. It's always made me suspicious. As it happens, I handed some Mora over to him not long ago. I can show you where he went if you want.
Really? Well, then there's no time to lose. Let's go.
Quiero seguirle, pero ya es muy tarde, pero quiero seguirle. ¡Ah! Pero ya es muy tarde, chicos, es muy tarde.